Hi, this is Keith Furrow with Keith Furrow Associates, trusted name along the Gulf Coast. Today we want to talk about zoning laws. What exactly do zoning laws have to do with each of us? Now, what are zoning laws? Zoning laws are where they have determined that you can build multifamily homes here, single family homes here, industrial building here, commercial here, many different reasons, because you don't really want a landfill behind your house. You don't really want the interstate, necessarily next to a park. Depends. Certain kinds of park, yes. Some areas, no. Now you have R1M, for example. That's one home per lot, one unit, but it also means you can do mobile homes. And you have R1, you have R2, you have R6. So typically what happens is that each different zoning, there are a number of units that can be in that particular size of property. You have different density. Obviously a downtown area is going to have R3, R4, R5 because you're going to be able to put more zoning. You might be able to put apartment complex, these kind of things. You might be able to put a commercial building. You have, say, commercial, you have industrial. You have different types of commercial, different types of residential. And then you have situations where there was no master plan. So throughout time, things built up and little communities attached to each other, and this little town became part of that little town. And so sometimes you inherit these things. So this is why you'll find some of the areas you go through, seems like every half a mile there's a new name on the road because they connected other places. Now, when we talk about zoning, the bigger, like if you have a large community, South Florida, big places in California, they'll do master plans where they plan the whole community and decide where everything is, like the villages. And they plan that. The challenge is that when you make these huge master plans and the world changes and you have all that plan, well, then you have all that property that may or may not have the value it once had. So there's two ways to look at that. And then you have to look at how the traffic's going to be and this kind of thing. Now, you might have an area that needs busing because the bus lines need to be a certain area because you have high density and there's not enough room for cars. Or you have people that work in a downtown community that don't have cars, but they have to go take a bus because it's 4 miles away. So these are different things. If you're from a bigger city, you're pretty used to it. If you're from a rural area, it's not so much used to it. Now, let's say you want to know, what is the zoning? How do I find out? Well, most of this stuff is provided on the county websites, and certainly you can do a little research and you can figure that out. Realize that zoning can change, that there are zoning appeal boards, and there are exceptions to everything. They typically don't put a bar next to a church. Could happen. If it's been there for 30 years, you probably can't close it. But those are the kind of things that you understand. I remember a while back there was some issues with funeral homes, or there was issues with crematories, and they didn't want them here, or different ideas, real life subjects. But the reality is there are these different things. So if you want more information, get with us. We'd be glad to help you. But mostly you're going to need to go through the zoning, and we'd be glad to provide you those resources. Keith Furrow, Keith Furrow Associates. Have a great day.